Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Amy. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I am going to show you how to paint a Garden Phlox, and I'm going to be painting it on this glass vase. I will be doing just the front of it with the design. If I were to be doing this for an actual piece in my house, I would certainly do the entire area around the glass. If you want to use it as a candle holder, that's awesome. If you want to use it as maybe a jar or a item to place candy in, or something if you're going to have a candy bar at an event like a bridal shower or whatnot. Holidays, you could even put a floating candle in it, some flowers in it, and let it light up the center of your table. And there's many things that you can do with this type of vase. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I will be using wicker white, happy green, Thicket, Scobash yellow, and magenta. The items that I will be using to paint with will be a number 12 flat brush and a number 10 flat brush. These are both plaid one-stroke brushes, and yes, I do use them often. They're covered with paint. And then I'll be using a stylus to do some dotting. Alright, so to get started, we're going to begin with the happy green and the Thicket, and maybe a touch of white. I will be loading my brush with the two colors and just going back and forth trying to get it loaded. And like I said, I do like to put a touch of white in here. White seems to be a color that has more pigment to it, and I'm not sure why that is, but it does. So I will be, like I said, double loading and then putting a little side of just a little touch of white periodically throughout the design. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to just start off by doing just a nice little stem going up that direction. And you can work on the bottom, like making it a little bit wider, thicker, however you want to refer to it. Alright, and then I like to crisscross them a little bit. So I'm going to come up here and then just do a little crossing over like that. And if you want, again, to make it a little thicker at the bottom of the stem or branch, you can. And then I might just pull up a little bit up into here. Alright, so basically on this one I'm doing the greenery ahead of time instead of after I do the design. Alright, so I'm going to make it with the leaves going with the lighter color up. You can do it whichever direction you choose. And you can rotate it if you don't like them to all be going with a certain color a certain way. Again, that's up to you. And I'm going to continue on. All of mine are just going to be these simple leaves. Very simple. Let's get some more paint here. Make sure it's green and not clear glass. Alright. And then just doing a little bit smaller set, almost did it the wrong direction. A little bit smaller set towards the top. I'm sorry, I just realized my dryer was running. I apologize for that. I do my painting down in my basement, so I went ahead and shut that off. I get so used to the noises that I don't even pay any attention. Is that bad? I think it might be. Alright, so let's again keep going here. Now with the space that I have here, my design is not going to be exactly as my sample that I've created, but that's okay because it's a little bit tighter quarters actually. So I'm just going to pull them in here. Now you don't even have to put these little, whoops, that was a blooper. You don't even have to put those little stems in here if you don't want. I like to put them in. So that's why I'm doing it. And then I'll do this. Oops, doing it the wrong direction again. It looks like I got it going the wrong way all the way around. Alright. So here we go. I'm just going to try to keep them small as much as possible. I mean, you could change brushes if you wanted to keep it smaller. Definitely okay that they're overlapping. That's a good thing. And I might want to just put this a little bit taller. Alright, now in preparation to adding some of the greenery, or not the greenery, but the floral petals, flower petals, I'm going to go ahead and touch in just some little, I don't know, little sprays of green. And on this too, you can kind of rotate it if you want, so that you get some of the darker coming in there, and then switch it back around to give it some of the lighter, and then some of the darker, just rotating it as you go. And if you feel like it, you could also make this design a little bit smaller with different brushes and such, if you felt that like the brush size was too much, too large. Even though we're just using the 10 and the 12, it's really not that big, but there again, up to you. And you could also pop in here with some light if you wanted. But you'll see what I'm going to be doing here in a second here. Get unstuck from the tissue paper. I keep trying to put new tissue paper down to eliminate all the colors and stuff that I keep getting on the paper. Alright, so I'm going to multi-load or double load, I should say, my brush. And actually, I think in my practice, when I had a lot more of the magenta, so I'm using the magenta and the wicker white. And since this is so tall, that's going to be kind of easy here. Whoops, I know I'm starting off with the wrong end of the color here. And I can just touch just a tad of the, I don't even know if I said this, the berry wine. I don't think I did. I'm doing berry wine also. It's actually part of the center. Alright, let me do this again. If you get too much paint on your actual paintbrush, feel free to wipe it off, on a paper towel or towel, whatnot, just to keep it from getting too full of paint. Because with the way I'm loading these, it can be quite full. Now these petals can be made with like a little dip in the center. like I'm doing on this one, or they can actually be made, I'll kind of turn this here, be made with, you know, like a little hump at the top. And if you want to make them more opaque, you know, feel free to go over them. They're pretty. It's a pretty flower. Of course, I love flowers no matter what they look like, so have at it. And I am going to do some overlay here. I said I don't have as much room up here as I was hoping. I did make my branches kind of, oops, and I just reversed it, for goodness sakes. Go back over that. I don't know why I'm doing that. Did not have an issue like that when I was doing my sample. Well, little pink on the outside, not a problem. If it really bugged you, you could go ahead and paint, a, or wipe it off. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Go ahead and wipe it off if you needed to. Now I'm just going to try to be like I'm layering these. If I were to do this again, I probably would put these stems down a little bit lower. Give myself more room for my flowers. But that's okay. We can still manage. So I'm going to be overlapping anyways. So that's where when you're overlapping, a lot of times it's not as big of a deal if coverage isn't what you want it to be at first. Because if you're going to be overlaying, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to wipe some of my paint out. And then put some in here. And then you can actually come down a little ways if you want. I'm going to do one, let's see here, right here. Get some more paint on here. Alright, do one right in here. It's kind of a partial. I like that. The green is still wet, so if you have an issue with that, then you might be one who would want to go ahead and dry it. Give it some drying time, hit it with a heat gun, whatever needs to be done so that you're happy with the outcome. I know that, you know, just for some people, that's just not, they don't like the paint overlapping. To me, it gives a character, but just know that it's perfectly okay if you don't like that look. So I'm just going to pull this one. It's not going to be a fully open one, but just do it like that. And then I'm going to come over here, still keeping with the same colors. And I just feel like my brush, when I'm loading it, is just getting so full of paint very quickly. And I'm just not, don't like working like that. Now if you feel like you can keep going and paint a couple petals with the paint, that's awesome. And again, they don't have to be the same shape going around. And I'm actually going to, I want to do some more layering here. And I hope you understand what I mean by that, is that they're overlapping each other. They're not just like a single flower here, a single flower there. They're overlapping. I'll just keep going here. This is a very easy design to create, but it can also be very pretty. Just go up like that. Sorry, I keep getting stuck. Keep getting stuck. Now, if you want to have more blooms, then bring your greenery down. So I might just stuck my finger in that. Of course I did. Oh, not too badly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and come over here. Come over here. And you can, plan this out or just do it as it comes. You don't have to have 5 petals. It can be 4. And I'm just going to add, let's see, over here, I'm just going to come down just a smidge and add a little bit of one more. I think I will put a 5th petal. I'm going to reverse it again. Should have a button here that you guys can yell at me. Hey, don't do that. Okay. Alright, so the next step is to take the same brush in the same paint mixture, which is the magenta, the wicker white, and a little bit of the berry wine, and then you're going to go back over, or not go back over, you're going to go over these areas that you actually started with, this green little sprigs. And you're basically just on the tip of the brush, and you're just pulling. Just lightly, ever so lightly, you're pulling. Now you can reverse it, kind of like I did with the leaves. You can reverse it. If you think you want to add maybe even some white into it, you can. You can just have some fun with it. And this way, like I said, you can go the lighter direction if you want. I'm just touching and then pulling, and I can turn the brush around and do the same thing in the opposite color. Like I said, I am touching this into the burgundy wine, or berry wine, burgundy wine. Making up my own colors now, and going like that. See how easy? I mean, you could be painting your own Christmas presents this year. Go for it. Definitely go for it. And you just don't have to paint for yourself. Of course, painting for yourself's great, but put it in the white. Give it some life. I'm just going to do that up here. I can turn it around once again. Do that. And it's just kind of whimsical. And I'm not pressing too hard, because you would actually have a thicker like flower if you pressed a little harder. Like this. I'm just going to add a little bit of white in here, just to make it stand out a little bit more. The main thing when you're painting is to have fun. Make it be something that you enjoy and that relaxes you, because everybody needs an outlet. Everybody. I don't care who you are. You need an outlet. Alright, we are almost finished. I'm going to take my stylist. So glad I can remember the name of it today. I don't know. I can tell I'm getting older because I have such an issue with remembering names, and when I'm trying to tell somebody something, tell them a story, I just have such a hard time with that. And this is no different. Alright, I am going to take, I need to put a little bit more berry wine out here. Like I said, I would move this down. Poor planning on my part. I would move it down. So if you think it's too close to the top, yeah, it is. Bring it down. But I'm not going to redo it just for that. Alright, so I'm going to take my stylus, and what I'm going to do around the center is just do some little dotting, not all the way around the center, just like say maybe 4, of course I didn't get enough paint on, oh, it's a blob. Okay, here we go. Now, and if your paint underneath is wet, it's not going to look as nice. Just an FYI. And there's other things you could do to this to make it look nicer, but I am going to leave it at this. I know I say that a lot. And you do kind of have to put some paint on your stylus more frequently than I'm doing right at the moment. And I am going to do it around this one. Hidden under there. Alright. Some of these you may not even actually see them as much, typically if you know another part of the flower is covering it up. So yeah, when you still have like a glob of wet paint underneath that, that is going to make it a little bit more difficult for that to stick. Now you also can get creative and do some dotting within these actual little sprays of blooms, but I'm not going to for this video. I'm going to leave it like this, and I think it's pretty. Like I said, I realized doing this I needed to adjust it down. That's my bad, but you get the gist. It's still pretty. Pretty design. I hope you like it. If you do, give me a big thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And once you're finished watching the video, there's a share button underneath. Hit that and share it on your social network with all your family and friends. I would certainly appreciate it. So until the next time, you have a good one. We will see you then. Bye.